Heyo, we're live.
Yay.
So we're doing the second countdown again, right? That's what we do.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
Oh.
It was funny.
Oh.
Like the producer on here, and I can see everyone just looking miserable at the bottom during the 30 second. Matt was sitting there just like, oh bother.
30 seconds of just like everything. I'm like over here like moving like stuff around, and I'm just like anyway.
I'm just like,
So yeah, we're
welcome.
another Friday, another Hollow Knight Marauders live, and
Yes.
Another episode of the Bad Batch.
Yes.
I'm very curious to go around the table and see how everyone liked this one, because when I was watching it, spoilers to everyone in the chat that
Spoilers
hasn't
for
seen the
episode 6, Decommissioned.
Decommissioned.
This is the warning. Spoiler. There are spoilers.
just right into it.
There you go.
So
That's it.
while I was watching it, I was like, oh, people aren't gonna like this episode. And not to say I didn't like it. I was fine with it, but you know, seeing the Martez sisters, the spoilers are lifted here. They were great in the episode. They were fine in the episode.
They were great. No, they were great. I like them.
The more I've thought about it all day since, I watched it earlier. A couple of you guys just watched it before we got on here, but it makes so much sense that they're in this, because we all thought it was like a waste in season 7 of Clone Wars to have them there, and now they're meaningful again. They're like they're probably a connection to Ahsoka or Rex between the Bad Batch and them. It's like I don't know. It makes sense. But what'd you guys think of the episode?
I liked it. My favorite part was when the droid wakes up and he goes, "Did we win?" Yes.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
No, B1, you didn't win.
Orders are orders.
Did we win?
Yeah, he just jumps. It's like, I don't know. He just goes.
I didn't think we were gonna get any droids. That was a real treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Huge.
I love that.
I really.
Yeah, it was cool to see like what are going on with the droids. They're kind of trashing them on Corellia, maybe reusing them, boiling them down.
The implication that maybe the droids get melted down and used to build Star Destroyers, I think is really cool.
Huh.
Yeah. That'd be a lot of droids.
You're on Corellia, like that's where these ships are being built, and they're this massive scrapyard of like, the machines of war just keep on turning, and Palpatine's like, yeah, just turn all the droids into metal.
Recycle them. Just gotta keep going. Yeah.
That's true.
Star Destroyers.
It's good to know Palpy recycles. So.
We already knew this.
Oh, yeah.
He's a friend of the forest of the sanctuary
The
moon
Sanctuary
of
Moon
Endor.
of
The
Endor.
sanctuary.
It was all part of his. It was all part of his 5-point plan.
He wanted to blow up
Yeah.
that moon.
to take over the Republic, and it had to include recycling.
Of course.
Exactly.
The Empire's green, all green.
Somehow the Empire is green.
Yeah, that's why they clear cut Kashyyyk. It's all very green.
I agree though. I agree with AJ that I think that it was definitely important that we saw the Martez sisters again, and it made their arc in season 7 worth it. Because it's just so isolated from the rest of the Clone Wars when you just like think about that one arc, but actually seeing them again, when you look back at the old episodes, it's like, you know what? Yeah, it was worth it. And
so good. They were doing jobs just for money then, and now they're helping people. And it's like, yes.
yeah,
They've evolved. They've grown.
which is
You can
good.
see the impact that Ahsoka's had on them. They're able to find a Jedi who could actually do something. Well, not official
Not a Jedi, but
Actually, so good.
as you do.
Jedi in our hearts.
Yeah,
You can see,
yeah,
you can see that impact.
my
Sorry.
concern came from, and I did it too, where I didn't like the episodes there in season 7. Therefore, my brain was like, you don't like them. So they popped up, and I was like, oh, here we go. But I loved it in this episode, and the way it recontextualizes a bit of season 7 or kind of just adds to it anyways, their arc in that. I thought it was awesome.
Mhm.
They were great.
You can also see Trace's influence on Rafa. Like, she's not nearly as hard as she was during those episodes in the Clone Wars. She's much more apt to be part of the side of the good, even if she still wants to make something for herself. I'm sure. Yeah, it was nice to see that dynamic, because I think the best characters are always the ones who you kind of aren't really into at first. I mean, I know when I first met Ahsoka, I wasn't really a huge fan, but she certainly grew on me and everyone.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think that makes Rafa and Trace's arc a lot better, seeing them like go from being somewhat, like not really entirely likable. I remember when Rafa was doing the Karen thing at the at the spice traders. I want to talk to the manager.
Yeah.
I love Rafa. I always found
Speaking of-
Trace to be a little annoying, but I love Rafa. Oh, I think she's got great style. I love her voice actress.
Yeah,
I love the voice actress.
Yeah, yeah.
She's so
They're
mean
great.
to Trace. She's so mean to Trace.
Yeah.
Even in
She's
this
mean to
episode,
everyone.
she was
That's
mean
her
to
character,
Trace.
Yeah, but now she's just like sassy.
Trace had a good idea,
Sassy
and then
Rafa.
Rafa's all like, "Oh yeah, great idea." I'm like, "Hey, be nice.
But-
Like, what are you doing?"
By saying that, we received the best piece of comedy in all of Star Wars.
Oh,
What-
yeah.
Is there an echo in here? Is there an echo in here?
Yes.
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 That was
Yeah.
great.
pulling it right back to the Rishi outpost. Like he's been waiting to drop that.
It was
Yeah.
so good. Like,
He really
that
has.
was-
But if you think about it, though, it is like pretty much like exactly parallel to when they first start calling him like Echo when they're in the training simulations on Camino, because they're literally behind a wall and he's just relaying the orders and they're like, "Would you shut up?" And it's just so cool to just like see that again, and it just makes my heart ache for Echo. But like it's the ultimate payoff because now we have a dad joke in the
We also
death
kind
match.
of get to
Very
see
good.
Echo's role with the Bad Batch a little bit, but like when he's training Omega, like no one else really seems to want to spend the time to do it. But he's like really disciplining her because he's a soldier and he knows how to be a soldier, and
This
he,
was definitely
he wants to
Echo's
make sure she
episode.
knows how to fight.
Yeah, definitely. This was Echo's episode. Like he had a bunch of moments that he really shined, and
Mhm.
him training Omega with the bow was definitely like
Omega picked up on it so fast too. It seemed like such a forced thing. Like literally exclude your surroundings. You know, you got to focus.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, she's
Yeah.
going
Don't think.
pop, pop, pop.
Use
I'm
your
like,
instincts.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, it's so forced. Like, what
no,
are you
that's how it
doing,
works.
Omega? Like Omega.
That's
I
how it
don't want it
works.
to be the Force. I don't want it to be. The
I
I
want
really
it to
like-
be the Force. I want it to be the
I hope
Force.
it's not
I'll
the
be
Force.
honest.
I don't know
Every
what I want
episode-
to
I hope it is.
Every episode, a new hint that it's the Force, huh?
I really like Omega's interactions with like badass ladies from the galaxy. Like with Fennec, it was pretty cool, but we know she's kind of a bad person from a certain point of view. And at the end, they're dropping off everyone, and they're like, "Oh, bye, Omega," and that was so cute and everything, just to see
Omega's
those
like, "We should
interactions.
hang out sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hate, it's weird, but I kind of hope the Martez sisters pop up again. I know
Yeah,
you guys
they
are
will.
saying that, but-
Totally.
will.
They
I
definitely will. I mean,
they definitely tossed it in there as well because like Trace is also younger. I would assume probably like in her like late teens at most, and so like she definitely like still feels like a kid herself. So they definitely had to like throw that in there, just be like, "Hey, by the way, these kids are fighting the rebellion." Just to remind you.
Yes.
what are you doing right now?
We I think Jack mentioned Ahsoka. Aiden in the chat mentioned
him.
the
him.
hologram
Yes, sir.
at the end.
What is
Um,
this? Is this a new thing? Never seen
We
Yeah.
this
did it
before.
before.
I'm
You missed it
skeptical.
last week, I think,
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end.
I
Technology.
can totally see it though.
It
So
is not-
contact at the end is definitely Ahsoka. She might be using the alias Fulcrum. That would mean another retcon for the Ahsoka novel.
No, it's
And also we
him.
see R7. So that was really cool to see R7.
Who had a
that's a
weird
really great
paint
point.
error or some
Well-
kind of
Yeah,
there
there
was
was
some kind of
a-
error there.
repainted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, but it was a
between
one
scenes.
shot.
Yeah,
one
one
shot
shot
he
is
was-
green and white.
yeah,
and then
And
the
then the
next
next
shot
shot
is
is
was
black and
black.
orange.
Yeah.
A
Black
wizard
and
did it.
Yeah.
I think it was just some animation glitch or
Yeah,
something.
there was some. It looked. Yeah, but no, I don't think it is because even if she were using the Fulcrum alias, she knows Trace and Rafa. Why would she hide her identity from them?
Yeah.
And in the subtitles it says him, and I feel like they know.
Oh yeah.
That is
Yeah.
she
What do
when
you guys
uh,
think it is?
when
It's
Rafa
a-
was like, "Oh, bring him up," when she
Yeah,
told
it's
the
a
droid,
him.
right? It was
Yeah.
a him.
Yeah.
So
It's a guy.
I was convinced
Rex?
it was Ahsoka until I actually.
I think it's
watched it.
Rex.
Ahsoka is a Jedi on the run. I mean, like she's a Force user with a lightsaber on the run. So there is a good possibility that it could be, them keeping her cover.
Yeah.
But
Or
I personally
yeah.
she
would rather
doesn't.
be like Rex or somebody.
Yeah. It could be like she trusts them enough to hire them, but she is even keeping herself secret from them. Like that's how hard she's going into it.
Well,
But
I don't think they're going to deviate that far from the
no, I
the
don't think
Ahsoka
so either.
novel.
And
no,
I don't
Well,
think-
someone it's someone who a deviant bunch of clones is important to.
I think Bail.
and
I'm on the
hopefully
Bail
someone
train.
good.
People were saying. I think Millie said that in the chat.
Yeah.
That it was Bale. People have been saying that.
Yeah,
could be Bail Boy.
it's a good answer.
But the clothes, I mean, I guess the clothes kind of look like something Bale would wear. It looks like a lavish cape, right?
It's
Oh,
the There, I saw
But it-
someone point out there's like a line that goes through the back, and it looks just like something he's wearing at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Oh,
And I'm
Don't
like,
they already
heavens,
have
the
that
seams. We need
asset?
to look into this now. Oh,
Yeah,
bring
I
it
was
back
deep in the
up.
seams. I was
Let's
like,
take a look.
Yeah, I mean,
Let me
it
take a
would
look
make
at this.
sense. They were getting the droid's head for the rebellion of some sort.
Yeah.
So maybe they work for Bill.
I mean, I want to. The only reason I think it might not be Rex is because he's in the trailer and they're making it seem like it's going to be a big reveal or something. So it would be a big reveal story wise, where it's like, whoa, he's working with Trace and Rava and starting the rebellion or whatever. But I just don't. I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't do it like that, considering he was so nonchalantly placed into the trailer.
Well, here's the thing. Oh, let me break this down because I just had a thought pop up in my head. Whoa, Rex wouldn't need the tactical droid data. He knows how to fight clones. He's got all that. He's got all that in his head already. This person wants the data of like fighting the clone army. Like Rex fought in the Clone War. He knows what's up.
You would go to
like literally the whole Bad Batch arc in the first one is he recognizes the patterns the droids are using are echoes that he and Echo came up with. Like he knows this stuff. Like he, as it says in Rebels, like he built like the modern code system with Cody. Like this guy knows his stuff. He wouldn't need tactical droid data to figure that out.
That is true.
It's a good point.
And like my thing with Bail is I think Bail is the most obvious, but why would they hide Bail? Like I don't think you need to do a Bail Organa reveal because
they did it in Rogue One.
But no, they didn't though. Like he just is there. Like they don't hide his face. Like, he just shows up. And, like if you know, you know.
Yeah,
he was
hiding in the shadows from us, not from.
Yeah. And in Rebels, like he's teased in the episode, but then you see him at the end. Like they show his face. Like never once have they been like, "Ooh, Bail Organa," you know? Like he's not the character where you do the ominous music fade out.
Right.
Like I don't really see that. So
so it's probably Prince Zizor, like I said last week. That's what that's my assumption. I think we can all go with
crack theory could be Obi-Wan.
I mean, people say Obi-Wan.
Possibility, but
why would Obi-Wan need the data though? To go back to that.
Obi-Wan needed it.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's like the mastermind, and then there's like because he can't leave Tatooine, you know, and he can't really like
the
make
mastermind.
Maybe
People have said I've seen a lot of Maul or Dryden Voss because a lot of people are saying, well, how do they're postulating it's Ahsoka because she has a connection to the Martezes. But the way I read the episode was that the Martezes decided to be good, so they sought out, like they have a ship, like it's the Han Solo thing. Like if you have a ship and you have the will to help people, you're just going to go out and do it. And someone contracted them. Like I don't think it's like I don't know. I don't necessarily think that this person has to be. People have been saying Mace too, but
highlighting that.
Like Maul and Dryden Voss
and
Crimson Dawn, they're fighting the Empire. They would want to know how to like counteract the Empire, and I could see Trace and Rafa like being tricked. And
I can see that.
They'd have to be
maybe for their own personal gains, but not to directly fight the Empire. I don't think Maul cares enough about fighting the Empire directly, but I
know, but Palpatine cares about fighting him.
I think that reveal.
We're talking about someone that the Martez sisters feel they know who this person is, and they feel that they are on the side of good based on how they know them. So, I think that is unlikely, just because it wouldn't make sense for them to trust someone like Maul.
Just looking at him,
he's a bad boy. He's a bad boy.
I want to say the reveal.
That'd be lame. That'd be
the reveal that it was like Maul
one.
Or Dryden Voss would kind of undo the entire message of the episode, because like Rava's like, oh yeah, we have a choice.
That's
a choice to do good, and then turns around and is like, here, Maul, take.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think they think they're doing good. I don't think they're bad.
But I think I know. But I think that
write
them
in though a story in which they get duped so quickly.
Yeah, I really think like them being tricked kind of undoes that message of like we have a choice, but make sure you're not dumb about it. Like
I just don't think. My theory last night was Quinlan Voss. That was my leading theory because I got big Force user vibe. Big Force user vibe from the cloak and from the music.
It's someone who's important to the clones.
I brought up Maul because it's just something I've been seeing a lot because of the music. People have really been going. They think it's Maul because of the music cue because it sounds a lot like season 7. This episode had a lot of season 7 callbacks. The Siege of Mandalore, big music callbacks. So people are thinking that. I don't think it is. I think it's. Honestly, I think it could be a new character.
Speaking of music callbacks, really quickly, the Droid Factory music from episode 2.
And the sound
effects fantastic.
Like they whipped the sound effects directly from the Droid Factory with the conveyor belt.
The furnace. You see those, and like at least it reminded me very heavily of the ones that you see in Jedi Outcast. When you're on Nar Shaddaa, you have to jump through some of those, and I had some flashbacks to when I was crushed.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking with the whoever it is in the cloak, it's also, at least how I heard it, it was kind of alluded that they would be very interested in a rogue group of clones. If
it's
Bale and
Rampart?
Rex definitely check out there. But
Yeah, the way it was said, just like who this person, I don't know.
Wolf
I
or
just
Gregor maybe, and
I just don't
know.
think it's
Maybe
Ahsoka.
be one of them.
I don't think it's
Yeah,
Ahsoka.
I don't think it is either.
Aiden mentions that it might not be that big of a deal. But now it's funny he brings up Fennec, because what if
Yeah, we don't know that.
what if the Martez sisters Fennec are working for like the same person? I never
That's
thought of
true.
that. Probably not.
Maul's like the chaotic, like, trying to be the puppet master of
dips
the
into
underworld
everything,
and
yeah.
stuff, so he could, yeah.
My worry
be.
with it being someone who is like so evil, like Maul, that they're working for suddenly, or Crimson Dawn or anything like that, is I don't want the Martez sisters to get duped so easily, because it would just be killer to their characterization. They don't
100%.
deserve that. They are good characters, and people give them a lot of shit, and they shouldn't. But if they are written in a way in which they get duped by someone who's evil, it's going to be like, okay.
See, told you those
what
Martez
happened?
sisters were no
Yeah.
good.
So, like, I hope it's not that for that sole reason. Like, when we were watching the episode, I was excited to see them, like, being revealed, and it was a really cool reveal to tie them in. But honestly, my first reaction was, oh, crap. I don't want to see the backlash for the next week.
Yeah.
Luckily,
I just don't.
Yeah. It's been pretty
there
chill.
hasn't been much. I mean, people are
Yeah, which
fine
is
with it, I
good.
think.
Which is really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
because the episode was good. Like it was just good. Like they were
Yeah,
great.
Corellia, like that's awesome.
Yeah.
They were on Corellia
Yeah.
the whole time.
It was
Yeah.
the same
Capable.
street from Solo. You could see
Mhm.
it.
It was, yeah. I gotta go
Like,
like
and I'm
go
like,
side by
"Ah,
side.
I just love how gross Corellia looks. Like, this looks
How old is
fantastic.
Han at this point?
And
Probably like 10 years old or so.
10.
about 10,
Yeah.
9 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I saw the Falcon in Revenge of the Sith, I'm like, is Han piloting that? And this was back in 2006.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I had to like do the math.
Pretty sure that's what everyone was thinking, though.
I mean,
yeah, no, 100%.
he was supposed to pop in episode 3 at some point.
He was.
Supposed to be
Concept
chilling
art.
with Chewbacca. Then he was going to be on the Tantive 4 or the Tantive 3, sorry, hanging out there. And then they were like,
nap break.
can't really figure out what to do with him. So
Yeah,
they cut him.
his original origin story was that he was raised by the Wookiees, that he was like left.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So he's Tarzan. I'm kidding.
Basically,
Yeah.
no, like literally, yes.
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's it's all in the concept art and in fact I was reading the making of Star Wars book last night, the original, the J.W. Rinsler one, and even in 77, one of George's ideas with that was that Han was raised by the Wookiees. So it's something that was like close to happening so many times.
Yeah.
You almost saw it in Revenge of the Sith. They were this close, but that got cut
We were this close.
from the script.
Huh,
And then-
that's kind of
and then Rick
unfortunate.
Town was like, rein it in, George. Rein it in.
People
I mean,
Might
I
have
think-
gone too far.
I think that kind of probably wouldn't have been received too well. And I
No.
kind of probably
No.
would have been like, eh.
Yeah, I would not have
Yeah.
liked that.
But, having George, do something that he'd been planning since 77, I'm a big fan of that. So
You're right
well.
over there, Levi?
Yeah.
Was that an earthquake?
No, I put my foot up on the singing. But yeah, I mean, even in one of the first things he wrote about Star Wars in like 73 is the Wills thing, and it's Mace Windy.
Yes.
I like
Oh yeah.
that name gets used all the way.
So I don't know, just you saying that just makes me think, like, what if it is Mace Windu? And like how crazy would that be?
I'm one of those people who's like, no. Like,
No,
Mace
I'm with you
needs to
there.
stay dead.
Let him die. Let him die.
Everybody else needs to stay dead. I'm sorry.
I think that if
Not
they
everyone
were to
needs
bring
to
back,
survive the height.
Everybody
if they
needs
were to
die.
bring him back, they should do it in live action, honestly.
Yeah.
Because he's like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Sam Jackson has been like,
I should-
I
I
for a while.
don't want him alive for the original trilogy. I don't want him
No.
Oh
anywhere
no,
close
no.
to
you
that.
bring him back, he's got to die within a year.
you can bring him back to kill
Yeah.
him, but like
No,
do
it's
it
true,
in live
yeah.
action.
It's just
Yeah.
funny that everyone dies on this hill about Mace one way or another, and I'm with there. I want him to I would prefer if he stayed dead, but in terms of like in the context of Star Wars, his death is like the most believable to be survived.
Yeah.
I think it's the most ironic thing. Everyone's like, he
Yeah.
has to be dead, but of all the people who've died and come back, his is the most like plausible because he lost his hand.
yeah,
Right.
he lost
Well,
his
he got
hand, but then he
separated,
got
man.
electrocuted and shot out the window.
Yeah, you know when people land in like trash trucks
Yeah,
driving
no,
by. It happens
you're
all the time.
honestly
That's
not wrong.
true.
Like
Driving
his
Aqualish.
death is more tame than
And-
anything else. But again, Mace Windu returning again like goes back to like undoing some kind of like development, because Anakin, the whole point is like he cuts off his hand Palpatine kills him, and that's when Anakin's like, I can't go back. I have to commit to this.
His death represents the turn of
It's the biggest pivotal moment in the galaxy.
So Mace Windu popping up and be like, actually, I'm fine, guys. Don't worry about me. It's like then it's like, well, okay.
If George wanted to do that, he would have made that part of the narrative.
Yeah. What do we think? What do you think's going on with Crosshair? To rein us back in the Bad Batch.
I want to see my boy.
We have not seen him in a long while.
I think he's planning something.
He was referenced
training up the troops.
I'm not sure we will until episode 8.
Yeah, he was. I think it was like they told Wrecker to keep lookout, and he's like, "Isn't that Crosshair's job or something?"
Oh yeah, and then he was like, he was trying to like snipe droids, and he was like up there with his blaster.
Yeah,
trying to take him out. What's this episode 7?
6.
I think we don't see Rex. I don't think we see Crosshair again until 8 because we have, out of the footage we have left, we saw all the Corellius deaths, and we have 2 more episodes. We have Raxus and we have Braca. I think it's Raxus then Braca, not Braca then Raxus. And I think having Braca being the mid-season where we see Rex, we have confrontation on Braca with Crosshair, and I feel like that's a great mid-season point because then we have 8 more episodes where we literally have nothing, no idea.
Yeah.
And that just makes sense to me.
Similar to what they did with Mando. We got like halfway through the season. It was like, oh, we're going blind now. Yeah, the season's 33% over now.
No, I don't say that.
I think there could be a scene like I think that it's possible that Crosshair could be the thing that interrupts their work with Sid. Like, I'm curious to see what Sid's gonna do when they come back. But I'm wondering if Crosshair coming back and getting in their way will be the thing that disrupts them and makes them have to move on, with or without Sid.
I think the chip. I think Wrecker's chip going on is going to be.
I wonder if Sid's even
can we talk about
with them after
how many
they failed the mission. So
that's true.
How many weeks in a row are we going to tease Wrecker's head? Like,
we got some confirmation.
Yeah, the Wrecker hits his head
just follow orders
to 6.
We know he's going to snap now.
This was the bonkiest of the bonks. Wow,
bonk
that was
threshold.
the bonk heard
Yet
around
the
the
least
galaxy
gonkiest of the gonks.
The Chekhov's Wrecker's
head. Gonky this week, guys. We did not see Gonky this week, and I'm very sad. I tried to not tweet about spoilers, and so I was like, literally earlier, I was like, no Gonky, very upset. No Gonky.
No Clink either.
No Clink. No, we're not going to see Clink.
I don't think we're going to see him again.
No, Clink is
back Clink.
He's got his own crew.
We're going to be pointing out every episode from now on. No Clink in this episode.
How about when Sid just flexed real quick and she just like,
badass.
Okay.
Sid is what you would call a hot ticket. That is what she is. She is someone else. Like,
so, someone would call her that. Maybe not me, but somebody
can't be trusted. But she is something else. I absolutely love her. Like
Spitfire.
Last week I was totally on board with Sid being like, she's totally trustworthy, and everybody I watched afterwards, like all the other people who talk about Star Wars that I watched, they were all like, I don't trust Sid. I don't think she's very trustworthy.
You don't trust someone with helmets.
This episode totally like leans into that kind of untrustworthiness, where now they're like questioning whether or not they should even be working for her.
I mean, her only job that we know they gave her was working for freaking Jabba the Hutt, not exactly a Jedi.
Yeah, that's
big note. She was a Jedi informant, but the power base has changed, and
that's true.
They've also failed their mission, and I don't think she's going to be very happy about that. And if they fail another one or do something to her, she might double cross them.
I mean, she's obviously restructuring who she trusts as well right now, like you said, because she was the Jedi informant, and then also doing side work with Jabba. So like we don't know where her loyalties really lie. And yeah, I love that entire scene though of Omega learning how to shoot and just the bar patrons just being awful and like distracting her, and then
they were gambling on it.
Yeah. And then Sid giving the job and Tech Jimmy like, oh, I know what that is, and she's like,
shut up, goggles.
Shut up, goggles.
Shout out to the first I think it might be the first canon Ithorian speaking with his like translator on his neck.
We've heard that plenty of
times. I don't think in canon.
Old Joe. What are you talking about? Old Joe, dude.
It's in Rebels, right?
Rebels. Joe.
Was he an Ithorian?
Yeah.
All right. I saw people talking about it.
There's plenty of
a while.
Did old Joe have the translator on his neck?
Yeah.
So you have to have the translator on your neck, essentially.
Yeah, you can't.
Otherwise, it's something to do in KOTOR too.
Yeah,
well, that's not. Yeah,
bunch of creeks.
Yeah, we see the Ithorian translator all the time. I feel like we saw it in Clone Wars, we saw it in Rebels.
Yeah, I'm surprised people were talking about that because that didn't seem like a big deal.
That's a non-story right there.
Yeah.
Hey, don't you remember?
They mention it on KRT, but I guess
they're not always the most
wrong.
accurate. Don't you remember the when the like Baron Rudor comes in and they're talking about the Empire Day channel and he's like,
"Oh yeah, how could I forget?"
Law.
Yeah, and it's like all modulated.
Yeah, it's like that's the law. It's coming out of his neck. That's
well, hey, favorite. Matt didn't make an alien video on it, so how am I supposed to know?
No, I'm sorry. True. I did on Otagans. Otagans are quite similar to Ithorians, except they have big lips right in the front.
Those are robust aliens.
They are
very robust.
I believe that was the word of the episode. I brought that in the comments. Was it robust? I want to say it was. The episode you made. I watched the sequel one. I feel like you said robust in a really funny way, and I wrote that.
Oh, I did at the beginning.
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker aliens are very robust.
Robust.
There's a funny comment on that video, other than Levi's, and it's like, "Did you guys like Rise of Skywalker?" I just didn't reply. So
well, you should answer yes. I mean,
yeah.
Oh no, I will. Right, but I'm gonna leave them on that cliffhanger.
The translators in the Reiko,
it's a trap.
In the Reiko Hardeen arc in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Okay then.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Good. Anyway, I want to make a point about the sisters that I really liked. Like just the fact that because in season 7 they are so distrustful of like the Republic, and Ahsoka gives them a little bit of hope about like the Jedi and helping people, but I wouldn't say they definitely distrustful of Coruscant and like the surface world. And now that the Republic has become an empire, like it assured all of their worst fears. Like literally everything they thought was true. And so it totally makes sense to me that they would be some of the first people who are rebelling or like trying to fight the Empire, because literally their whole lives they were like, I don't trust this Republic thing. And then they're the Republic became an empire, saw that coming.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
why if it is a Jedi that they're working with, I feel like it would work, because through Ahsoka they've seen that the Jedi can be trusted and they can be good people. But maybe that's a little too far of a step for them right now. But
and the R7 thing is so weird, because not only do they refer to R7 as a him, and we know R7 is a she, but the whole color thing is different. Like, did they use the wrong model?
I mean, there can be two R7s, right?
Yeah, the second half of its name could be different.
But they definitely they use the same model, and they messed up the coloring in the first shot with it.
It's so either the first or the second shot.
It was the first one. It was the green and white, I believe, and then when this next time you see it from behind and it turns its head, it's gold and white, I believe, or gold and gray.
It's black and orange.
Yeah, it's black and orange.
Black and orange. Totally I don't know.
Totally
we wouldn't be having this conversation if they decided to use cheap. First of all,
true.
That's so true.
We would all know cheap.
Facts.
The thing is, at the end of Clone Wars, you see R7's parts.
I was gonna say.
Out.
Was R7 the one under the Y-wing, and they just put everything against him?
Yeah, so maybe it is Rex. Then, if it's the same R7, then it's Rex.
It's confusing.
That they're
working. But back when they say R7, they say him. Like when the ship's flying in, they're like, he's coming. It's like,
true.
Why?
But
so
do droids have specific pronouns always?
They can.
I mean, they usually have programming that's like gender specific.
True. Yeah.
Bad Batch is the bane of canon. Bad Batch just it's like every week. It's
going around messing
everything up.
It is always something.
Star Wars.
It's always something small, but it's always something.
They're always doing something, but they're always dropping the references though, which is like the best part. Like this one was so solo heavy, obviously, because we have Corellia,
big solo week,
music, and huge solo week.
Oh yeah.
And Mando season 2, we were riding high. We were like Cobb Vanth. They respected the story. They told it on screen. That's great. And then Bad Batch is just like, we hate it. Everyone's like,
they didn't retcon that much.
This is how I imagine Legends fans felt about the Clone Wars when it was first coming out. And it's like every week they were just erasing things from Legends, and people were like, "What are you doing?"
It was cool to see that dichotomy of they're using the command droid to program the battle droids to help fight them against the police droids. I was so underwhelmed that they were just called police droids. I'm like, come on, give me a name, give me a type.
I like their look too.
They look like
it looks like an HK mixed with the like that torture droid in Jabba's palace. And I really love getting to see them in action. Yeah, they kind of sounded like that. And I was
they sampled the droids. They sampled the protocol droid from Empire Strikes Back, which goes like the one, and they sampled Return of the Jedi, the droids in Jabba's palace, I believe.
Yeah.
I think
what do you call it? the thing that I wanted that I was building to is that there's a really cool mix of like now they're fighting with the droids. Like, oh, I never thought we'd be fighting alongside droids. Yeah. And like, you know, arguably clones are kind of similar to droids in terms of like they're conscripted for service the same way droids are built, and they're programmed to do a certain task. And so like, you know, they're kind of like looking at an uncomfortable mirror of themselves again, like you know, as they continue to try to find their place in this new world.
There was one really good shot of that, of the battle droids are like just like jumping in to like help them, and Echo turns around and he just is holding it at gunpoint, and the droids are just like, yeah, just turns away. It's just like enough where Echo's like, oh. Yeah. AJ, I highlight that comment from Aiden regarding the police droids. Like I saw a post, I think that Aubrey posted this. She compared it to one of the droids that was in KOTOR. I can't remember which one, but the paint scheme was like pretty similar. And
who is she talking about? Has she interacted with the clones before?
What did he say?
What did he say?
He says, she says, why aren't you clones fighting for the Empire? Isn't that what you guys do now?
Yeah,
and she said, and he goes, we're different. And she says, I've heard that before.
Oh.
What is she talking about?
When I first read that, I kind of thought Ahsoka with the Jedi, where it's like, well, I'm like a different Jedi.
But that would have been a positive. I heard that before.
Yeah, that's true.
Wrong. Where in this instance, she was like, I've heard that before. Like, has she interacted with a clone? Like, did she run into Rex and they didn't trust him? Like, what happened?
No, she definitely has a lot of bitterness about her, regardless. So maybe it wasn't necessarily clone related. Just in general, people have been like, "Oh yeah, I'm different." And she's just like, "No, people are all the same." Like, I feel like
that in comparison or in with the line at the end where she's like, this is a rogue clone squad. I thought you might be interested. Like, it seems like there's some clone connection going on. Obviously, the show is about clones, so I just feel like there's an emphasis. Whoever this is tying into, I feel like it's got a clone angle to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
maybe it's Cody. No.
I think it's Rex.
I think
it's as simple as Rex.
I don't know where to hang my hat.
Just bringing up Battlefront 2, when I was watching, like, just like the theme of the episode goes so well with Luke's quote, "choice to be better." You know, like, it literally was that like embodied in the message of the episode. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
good point.
I still think it's Rex, but I feel like it could be like any of the clones, because like we don't know what happens to the Martez sisters after the Republic actually falls. We know they're on Coruscant, and that's it. And we don't even know if they actually are on Coruscant when it happens. So yeah, regarding that comment, probably ran into Fox. Maybe they did run into Fox because Fox is still on Coruscant.
Yeah,
is he?
Probably been more of a jerk.
Echo's gonna get his hands.
Vader snaps his neck.
Well then,
Rex is sort of like the underwhelming answer. I feel like, just because it's like so obvious, but it makes sense because they got the Ahsoka connection, and I can see before Ahsoka and Rex left, like, hit these people up, like they'll help you out or whatever.
Ahsoka definitely doesn't know that many people outside the Jedi Order, because the only thing they decided to show us of what she did after she left the Jedi was to see the Martez sisters, which is kind of crazy because she was out of it for like a year. But
I really do agree with Levi that it wouldn't make sense if it was Rex, just because Rex doesn't need tactical droid data. He doesn't need to learn how to fight clones. He's a clone.
Right. Yeah.
So this is a mystery.
And also, like, we know he's in the show. It's not like they need to make like a huge, like, big deal that Rex is in it, you know? Like,
and to go at the end of the animation. Like, we know. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead, Jack.
I'm sorry, man. All I want to say is at the end of the day, they want to draw up attention. They want to draw up interest. So even if it just ends up being Bale, and I think that makes a lot of sense. They could just be jerks about it and just be pulling that reveal just to get some more dialogue going.
Right.
Maybe
we might just be looking too far into this.
Think about the music and the reveal. Like, you don't. I think there's purpose to it. Like, you wouldn't, because we know, like, because they know or are cognizant around the dialogue around Star Wars. They know that we like Rex. They put him in the darn trailer. Like, we knew that Rex was going to be in the show, and Bale is something that we know is involved with the rebellion, and to go like deep into animation, we know what the de-robed or like de-armored clone model looks like, and they're kind of lanky. Like, they don't have the big, like, stocky look to them. So if that is Rex, he'd have to be wearing his armor and then a cloak over the armor.
Well, there's that toy, right? Wasn't there a toy leak?
Well, there's no leak. This is a weird thing. So it's on the new Black Series. The way it works is I can't show it. It's on these ones. These ones right here, the new side ones. On each of them is like a character portrait, and if you line them all up, it makes a piece of art, like a
mural.
Big mural.
Oh, that's so cool.
And on the Bad Batch ones, because not all the figures are released, obviously, there's like a little arm and a cloak on like I think the Hunters on the side, and so it's not a leak.
Oh, no.
It's just people are like, who is that?
Now you got AJ looking.
It's on one of.
Can't be Hunters, I guess, because I don't know.
It's on one of them. Looking at
there he goes.
It must be Crosshair then.
It's an interesting call out because the toys, or like especially Legos, they reveal so much.
Follow the toys.
So
although
like,
I'll never believe Lego again, because I could have sworn, I say this all the time, but I could have sworn Boba Fett was going to be in Rogue One. Very convincing fake Lego set. Wow. And he was nowhere close to Rogue One. So I don't know. This was just like a leak way back when Rogue One was coming out, and it was a very, very convincing Lego set I saw.
Aiden, I don't know. Aiden saying it's probably Bail. Ahsoka probably introduced sisters to him, but Ahsoka and Bail aren't like together yet by this point.
Well, Ahsoka knows
we know of.
She
what if they all met up on?
In the book,
oh yeah, she definitely ran into him.
Well, I know that like she's familiar with Bail. I'm not saying that, but like she is not involved with the rebellion aspect until about a year.
Right. Yeah, unless they want to totally retcon the book, like it doesn't happen. They don't meet up for like a while. Which they wouldn't be scared to do. They've done it before.
Yeah.
I've been toying with the thing because I think Ahsoka could be in the show because when the book starts is ambiguous, and I think you could play with before the book starts, and she could interact with the Rex and the Bad Batch because obviously her and Rex leave off at the end of Clone Wars, so they could still be together before she goes into hiding. I think that could work. But
keep in mind, this is still only like a couple weeks at most since Order 66.
But
it's still really recent.
Yeah, but her being like full on Fulcrum Rebellion, doesn't happen.
That's far off.
Much later.
Right.
So that's where I'm like, I don't know, and I don't think they would retcon the book that much. Either that, or they make the events of the book just happen immediately, and then this is after that. I think you can do that maybe, but I don't know. They've already at that point you just decanonize the whole book because there's like what's the point? There's too much.
Seems unlikely.
Random, but I'd like to see some Polis Massa in this. In this series,
very random.
That was random.
I was thinking Bail, and it's like secret
Bail.
meeting spot. I know. Well, I know they go there. It would just be kind of cool, a cool place to meet up with some rebellion people.
We just went there in Vader.
We did.
Just went there in
and it was all deserted. Yeah,
deserted Polis Massa.
I just went there. It was like a year ago, but like 4 issues ago.
All right, my guests are here. I gotta go.
All right. See you, Matt.
See you,
Matt.
Finally.
Good guy, that Matt.
Just kidding. Yeah. People saying Mace. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, this is what they want. This is what they intended.
That's what I'm saying.
When they put a half of a cloaked figure that hardly even had
exactly
that didn't have a line.
And you don't do that with Bail. That is not a character.
Exactly. That is not a Bail-worthy reveal.
Yeah, I would be very dissatisfied if it was Bail, even though I think he makes the most sense right now. But I would be so excited if it was someone unique or original.
That's also a weird thing to do for someone new.
My out there is
unless they have connections to something bigger.
That's true.
That's my out there.
But really, think about cloaked characters before we
Dex.
know Ahsoka.
What do you know?
But really,
apron, cloak.
Obi-Wan.
Martez.
They definitely would be regulars, okay? But true. No.
What's the deal with Dex?
He's got 4 arms, but he doesn't watch this shirt.
Why isn't he in the show?
Oh
man, that was good.
Okay.
Rafa making me crazy.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. But think about cloaked characters in general. When we find out in Rebels, we don't know it's Ahsoka right away who's Fulcrum. It's just a hooded figure, and it doesn't even look like her because it would have been like a big reveal. So it's very possible we're looking way too into this.
To be fair, no, but
I just have to remind us.
People people immediately did like voice modulation stuff and figured out it was Ahsoka like instantly.
Yeah. So I mean, like, did our mystery person have a line? I don't remember.
No.
He was just there. Okay.
They just turned around.
And I'm saying even in Rebels, like they gave you the voice and people sleuthed out it was Ahsoka immediately. This you just get like a shoulder, like
barely, yeah.
Like
he's got that poncho.
When do you think we find out who it is? How close to this episode?
See, that's the worst part.
3 weeks from now.
Yeah, I don't think we figured it out until weeks from now.
That's crazy.
Because I'm with Levi. You mentioned Raxus next week.
Raxus, then Braca, and then mid-season, and then we know nothing for the last 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm down for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the rest of the trailer footage again. We do this every week.
Yeah.
Eventually we're gonna be out.
It's just Raxus and Braca.
Yeah.
It's just nice getting to see all these old planets that we are familiar with, and want to see more of because we've only heard of them. I mean, like Ord Mantell, we've seen like we may have seen
awesome,
Mm-hmm.
I think next week.
Was in the Clone Wars.
Next week, no, it wasn't. I think next week we get. They go to Raxus on a mission. Wrecker's chip malfunctions. That's the inciting incident. They have to go to Rex on Braca. They have to find him because they know that he knows something about the chips.
Right.
And then there's a 2-parter on Braca. I think Braca's the mid-season 2-parter.
Well, that's the thing with Wrecker. If it could be interesting if it is a Jedi and then his chip really kicks in and he tries to kill it.
I feel like that was a big part of why he didn't snap in this episode, because like he's fighting it really hard while he's just laying there, and then he does overcome it, but then he is very disoriented, obviously, as he's running around. And the thought did cross my mind while watching it the first time being, it's a good thing there isn't a Jedi here, because it would probably just force it to actually do what it's supposed to do. So he is overcoming it in a way, but like if it does get to the point where he sees another Jedi, it probably will fully trigger it, and there's no way he's going to be able to stop it himself.
Yeah. I mean, do you even think he knows what's like going on with him? Like,
No.
I don't think he's put it together,
no idea.
and he clearly hasn't told anyone. So
I'm surprised like the rest of the crew hasn't really picked up on it. I mean, I know Hunter asked if he was all right, but like
once Tech gets the scanner going, hopefully it won't be too late.
It's taken forever.
Well, he's been working on the scanner, but the ship's broken down. They've been taking jobs. He probably hasn't been working on the headband, and so like they've been doing stuff in between, and he's been trying to like explain like everything to Sid. So like, and she's just shooting him down. So he's a little discouraged right now with his own like things that he can do.
Oh, yeah.
So
that was great when Tech's like, "Listen, I know what's going on." She's like, "No, you don't understand. I'm the captain now."
Shut up, goggles.
And Corey
Corey
said that. It just throws another wrench in the work. Corey said that he's seen an Ahsoka Bad Batch figure.
I saw that on Convoy call.
Like that throws a whole
he wouldn't lie about that
level.
If there's merch, it's gonna be of Ahsoka. No matter
Ahsoka
what.
will be in the show. I mean, I think it makes sense. We see her in everything, so it's at this point it's like whatever. But I wouldn't be surprised at all.
This whole R7 thing is like it increases the Ahsoka likelihood. It's so
cool. It's a bit. That's a tease,
but that's the thing. I don't think they'd call it R7 and not have it be the same droid, or at least try to elude people that it could be the same droid. Like I mean, there's so many R units out there. Like 7 is a strange one to just.
I'll be annoyed if the figure is just Ahsoka, and they're just like, "Yeah, we said him. Who cares?" And I'll be like,
"Yeah, maybe probably it. Honestly,
I mean, they could have just
a missed detail."
Wait, does it say him like
in the subtitles? And she says
talk.
Him.
Oh, I see.
No,
when the ship's coming in,
right.
And when it's coming in, and when she says put, she says patch him through.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, so if it is Ahsoka, I think the explanation is that she doesn't even tell them that.
I've watched the scene like 8 times, Jamie. She says,
"Is she referring to the droid?"
She refers to the droid as a him when it's coming in, and then in the last scene of the episode, she looks to R7 and says, "Patch him through R7."
And that makes sense because they're just together. So there's no reason for her to lie about pronouns.
Yeah.
If she's referring to the mysterious hologram person both times, he's on his way. Maybe they're going to meet him. I don't know.
Well, no, they said he's on his way about R7, right? So they called R7 a he. And then when they say patch him in, they're referring to the hologram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It's just confusing to me.
So
I could totally see them just be like, yeah, it's just Ahsoka. I'm like, why?
Yeah. So that's the thing. If it is Ahsoka, then they probably don't know. She just trusts them, but she doesn't want to put her name out there, which would be very convoluted and strange.
Because at this point, Ahsoka's like 18 years old. It's just weird to me that she's this far into doing rebellion stuff. She's literally like 18.
It's
she had to grow up pretty fast.
She doesn't know what happened to Vader.
It doesn't make sense to have this full-fledged rebellion yet. Like they are trying. Like obviously Saw is trying, but like we don't have any sort of a full-fledged organized rebellion. We don't get that for years.
Especially right now, Ahsoka does not have lots of hope.
Right now, it's like the Enfys Nest's moms of the world and
rebelling against Crimson Dawn.
And like I said, like Trace and Rafa were people established to not be trustful of the Republic. When the Republic becomes an empire, it totally makes sense that they would be like, hey, we're not cool with this. And so like that, it just doesn't seem, connecting it to like the broader rebellion at this point, that just seems weird.
Yeah, for the same reason it took like a season or two for like the Ghost crew, for the Spectres to, like, for the Rebels to actually like join the rebellion. That was a huge thing for Kanan.
Would there be anyone possibly in Saw Gerrera's like group that we see like in Rogue One that it might be, I don't know, that they're like in contact with, that eventually like joins up? Like we got like, I don't know, is it like two tubes? Imagine. That'd be something.
Edrio or Benthic.
There are two tubes.
The old woman, maybe?
No, there are two tubes. It's they're twins.
Right.
One's Edrio, and
I think it's the Borgullet.
Yeah,
Borgullet.
Because like that'd be a fun reveal. Someone else who is kind of associated with Saw, because he's the only one like with an active like rebellion right now. If someone else is like operating on their own, trying to like do their own thing on whatever their own homeworlds, then like they can join forces later together. And then it would ease the blow if the Martez sisters are working for someone who means good, but they don't know how intense they are, as opposed to someone who just wants pure chaos. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Plus, I don't think Maul needs to like regroup. I highly doubt it.
He's got to take some time to get established.
Like he needs to.
Maul and Ahsoka both need to regroup after season 7. So
there's a whole book about it.
I was gonna ask. Pardon my lack of knowledge on the matter, but what happens in the Ahsoka novel again? Like,
I'm only halfway through it, so I
spoilers
a little bit. But Levi could. No, like, I know what happens.
She's pretty much just like a farmer on a planet for like a while, hiding.
Half the book she's like hiding
with
out
Cutlo Cain.
No,
that'd be great.
and then the second half, spoilers. Dylan, do you care?
Go ahead. I've heard it all.
Then like an Inquisitor starts hunting her, and then shit gets real. And she has to defend, and people die. Like all the people on her farm, a lot of people on her farm planet just get killed, brutally murdered. Okay. And then she starts to like team up with Bail Organa, because Bail Organa comes in and saves the day with the Tantive and A-Wings, and it's like, hey, join the rebellion, be Fulcrum. And she's like, okay.
I shouldn't have said I know it all. Now I do. It's not your fault, but there's definitely some things that I didn't know in there.
And so she gets her crystals. She kills the Inquisitor and bleeds or purifies the red crystals of the Inquisitor blade. Her white ones.
So that'd be something. I mean, E.K. Johnston wrote that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I remember at the time there was a story about her going to Filoni, about different stuff in the book, and wasn't he kind of just like, yeah, whatever with it? I don't know.
Well, he told her like a handful of things that she couldn't do. I think that the funniest takeaway from that interview was the first question she asked is, she's like, how does she hear? Like,
yeah, that's right.
And it's through the head tails, but like that was like the first
He
question.
Probably,
but then
I doubt he was thinking about the Bad Batch series back then. So he kind of painted himself into a corner.
I think that the guidelines were stay off the Siege of Mandalore, like don't do anything about that. And I'm pretty sure that was like the big takeaway. So
it's a bit vague.
HoloNet, thank you so much for having me on. I do got to head out now.
Oh,
but
okay, man.
See you,
Dylan.
See you, Jack.
See you, Dylan.
Just after he got spoiled for Ahsoka.
Losing everybody.
To be honest, it's a quick read, and I don't think it's.
No, Jamie read it. We have it over there in the bookshelf. Jamie read it like 5 years ago, whatever it was.
Whenever it came out, I obviously don't remember all of it. So.
Yeah, I haven't read it myself. I got to give it a spin.
Maybe they should have waited on that book a bit. It sounds. I hear it's good.
They didn't know. To me, it's not my favorite. They didn't know that Clone Wars was going to finish at the time. That's why you have the Siege of Mandalore stuff. They didn't know that Bad Batch was going to be a thing at the time, and so, yeah, I don't know. It's just is what it is. I don't think they're going to retcon it though.
I really hope they don't, because that would be a pretty big one to like retcon a whole story like that. Now that I kind of knew the gist of it, but now that you kind of summarized it, it seems like that'd be a big step if she met with the Bad Batch and everything.
Yeah, the key is though it's happening all about a year after.
Yeah, I think that if anything, needs to be like assessed, like maybe push it farther into the timeline.
Yeah,
don't make it a year, make it a little bit after, but I don't know.
Do we know what happens with her, like right after the Siege of Mandalore, technically? No. So it could fit in and not retcon it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it could be before the start of the book. That's what I've said. Is the start of the book is pretty vague. About, like I said, it starts later. So she could do that. I just don't think that she can have interactions with Bail.
Okay.
That's the thing. Like, I don't think she can be like, "Hey, Martez sisters, join the rebellion with Bail. I'm Fulcrum." Like, that would be a lot of jumps. That would be a little bit confusing. Like, how would you?
Heck, the more I think about it, I don't think Bail would make sense until like season 2 of this show or like the end of this season.
I just realized in Siege of Mandalore, even then they set up that she's going by Fulcrum. Like maybe the retcon has been in progress a long time.
The wheels are already in motion.
The wheels are already in motion.
That's right. When she contacts the council, and then she's referred to as citizen.
Citizen.
Very interesting.
Corey talking about the Ahsoka figure though, it made me think it was like a misprint because he said it was the exact same as the season 7 Clone Wars one, just in a red box. That just sounds like a printing error or something. I don't know why.
I feel like that would have been talked about elsewhere. A lot of those toy leaks come out, like with Crosshair.
Hasbro's bad, but they're not that bad. They don't literally release the same exact figure 6 months apart in 2 different boxes.
Yeah, true.
I mean, they rebranded all the Clone Wars figures just to be Bad Batch figures, just swapped out the labeling, and they were like, "Oh, well, these are the Bad Batch figures."
What do you
mean? Well, they could think about it. They could have released the Clone Wars figures.
But they only released them
Clone
once.
Wars season 7.
I see what you're saying, but they didn't release them literally twice.
No. They just released them the one time. They just delayed it. Exactly. They definitely could have done it earlier, though.
I just don't think that they would release the Ahsoka in the Clone Wars box and then also an Ahsoka, the exact same action figure.
There'll be like one different repaint with it.
It'll come with a different accessory.
Yeah.
No lightsabers.
But it being the same outfit too. He said it was the Siege of Mandalore outfit. I just think they would make a different outfit for Bad Batch. I feel like she'd be wearing something else. I don't think
it's 2 weeks later, she would just have a cloak. I don't think she would have something brand new.
Yeah, but a cloak.
Fennec Shan wore the same thing for 30 years.
Fennec Shan has not had that much character development yet, so she doesn't get a new outfit.
Yeah, true. I'm with Jack. Why would they refer to her as a he when they're alone?
Yeah,
but that's the big thing.
Just talking about, I was just mentioning this, her being in the show in general. Like that sounds.
For sure.
A misprint to me. Like Hasbro's not that bad. They're not that evil. They're bad.
Jack, they don't do
that.
Did you read the War of the Bounty Hunters comic this week?
No, but I did spoil myself on it, so I'm still down to talk about it.
Okay.
I was very excited. I wasn't sure if I was really invested enough to read it yet, but that.
So should we talk about it?
First issue, so.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah. I feel like it's not that bad of a spoiler if it's the first part of the arc.
Okay. So everyone in the chat.
It's the 6th issue technically. So.
Okay.
Everyone in the chat, we're going to talk about the War of the Bounty Hunters comic, featuring Boba Fett from this past week. So they'll be talking about spoilers here. So, yeah, Levi, you want to start? I feel like this is like your bread and butter. So you claimed it might be your favorite. When this is all said and done, it might be your favorite thing in Star Wars.
It's true. It's shaping up that way. I am really digging Star Wars comics. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars comics. I always say I was on a live stream with Choco the other day talking about books, and
that was a long stream, by the way.
It was.
It was like 2 hours.
2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh jeez.
Oh jeez.
Very long.
That's like Last Jedi.
Yeah, it was. We made a movie. But they were talking about. There's some people on there talking about how their favorite part of Star Wars is the books, and for me, I think it's the comics. I think Star Wars thrives in comics, and this is a recent development of mine, because I think I always go to the thing where if if the world ended, right, and I don't mean like hypothetically, like all the Star Wars movies got erased, but you still have these physical media. You could tell you have this whole story of Star Wars in this comic form and book form, like in print media, and it's still just as good and even wider. But that's just me. I love the comics. But yeah, so War of the Bounty Hunters. This is the first issue of the mini series, but it is the 6th issue in the crossover. So we started with the Alpha, and then we had 4 prelude issues from Star Wars, Bounty Hunters, Aphra, and Darth Vader. All ongoing runs right now that are set in between episodes 5 and 6 are crossing over with this run. So this was the first issue of the main thing, and it revealed that Han Solo got taken by Kira and Crimson Dawn. Crimson Dawn's coming back in the time between episodes 5 and 6, and they've returned, and that was really cool. Yeah, that's my Saga was also in issue 13. A lot of Solo tie-ins.
Right?
Yeah, tons.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier,
tons.
big week for Solo. Like this was the big thing, and then
Margot
going to Corellia in the Bad Batch episode.
I have it.
Yes, Margot. I knew you were going for it.
There she is. Yeah.
I knew that hand immediately.
Both of you guys.
Literally the first frame, you see her hand. Yeah, like as I was reading it, I was just like, that girl's in Crimson Dawn. Like I immediately, I was just like,
same wavelength, Jamie. So
you're the only two that noticed that right away. So
because we adore Solo.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm very curious to see where it'll go. I'm very curious as to why they made Kira look identical.
You're very curious.
Very curious.
She's not that old. She's only like 34 in the comic.
Yeah, but still, like if you would look older than.
I know, but like that's what Amelia Clark looks like now. Like Amelia Clark was 32 or whatever, playing like a 20-year-old, and now she's 36, like looking like a 34-year-old. So it's like
it was a really fun reveal though. Like like unexpected, but like expected if you picked up along the way that it's Crimson Dawn, because like we know at that point in time that like it's Maul's dead and whatnot. I think that was like the most interesting bit in the comic to me was all the Hutts like talking to each other, and Jabba straight up says something like, "Oh well, the leader was very formidable and now he's dead." They know that Maul's dead. They don't know how he died though, and so they're like, "Oh,
they're just assuming he's dead because they know Maul, because Maul, I mean, he was a major player in the crime world. I mean, he knows Jabba the Hutt. Like he showed up on Nal Hutta and was like killing the Hutts at one point, and like when he forced them into the Shadow Collective, and then as Crimson Dawn was around, I assume they fought with the Hutt cartels, the various cartels, whatever. But Jabba is like, that guy was intense, and that guy, because Crimson Dawn's sort of been off the radar for a while. They fell off after Maul presumably disappeared on Malachor and then died. He's like, they've been off the radar. If that dude was still in charge, we would know about it. So he's dead. And so whoever this person is, either they killed him or like did something with him. So this person means business. And like that's the logic. It was pretty
which is like super interesting. So like they're already like really overestimating like what Kira can do, and like we still don't even know Kira's full potential, because the way that it's left off in Solo is Maul tells her to come to Dathomir, and like that's it. What do they do? I have no idea. So like it'll be super interesting to see like how this develops, and like maybe even somehow like little like flashbacks along the way, or maybe it's actually introducing future content as well with Kira in this era.
Yeah,
which would
I'm
be
so
insane.
excited because we're gonna get confirmation. I think, I hope, I pray, finally, if Vader was involved or not in taking down Crimson Dawn. Because when Vader finds out it's Crimson Dawn, which we know he will in these issues, he's either gonna be like, Crimson Dawn, what the hell is that? Or Crimson Dawn, that crime organization I took out like 10 years ago. Because I have this whole thing in my head, like Vader had to have taken out Maul or taken out Crimson Dawn, because Palpatine would not let a Sith Lord, Darth Maul, just be in control of this huge crime world in the galaxy. Like that is his, as he says in Clone Wars, you've become a rival. Like he's like they are opposite to each other. He cannot exist while Palpatine is emperor. Like that can't be the thing. So he would send Vader to go deal with that problem.
Yeah, because we still don't know how Darth Maul like how he lost everything and ended up on Malachor. Like we still don't know like what caused him to go there, why he left the Darksaber behind on Dathomir for the Rebels crew to find it. Like we don't know, and so like that's like a big fill in the blanks as well, and that'd be something huge to tie into this as well if we start throwing the Darksaber in there. That's something that I really want explained, but I don't know if it'll get touched upon like in War of the Bounty Hunters.
At this point, the Darksaber would be with Moff Gideon.
Still, how the hell did he get it?
I know.
Well, he gets it before the original trilogy.
Oh, yeah, because we're talking 5 to 6. Yeah, that makes sense.
He gets it during the Purge, and that happens right before A New Hope. because the whole purge thing sort of explains why Mandalorians aren't really present in the OT, why they're not really helping out. Because Bo-Katan, there's the Mandalorian Rebellion led by Bo-Katan in like 1 or 2 BBY, and that fails, resulting in the purge that we hear about in Mandalorian. That's when they all go underground for the original trilogy. And then when we pick them up in Mandalorian, Bo-Katan's trying to get Mandalore back, and Mandalore at that point has been turned to glass or whatever, and so not good things happen.
Yeah, like not to like derail the War of the Bounty Hunters conversation, but that's something that they really need to show in some sort of media, either in a visual show or in a comic, because like the line alone is not enough to explain it. Because like I always forget that that's even a line in the show that they talk that this happened. So like it for a casual viewer, it needs to be explained deeper as to why the Mandalorians aren't present during original trilogy and what's going on with the Darksaber. Because you think of Darth Maul, leader of Crimson Dawn, he has the Darksaber, and we know he loses it. So if we're talking Crimson Dawn and War of the Bounty Hunters, all of that comes back into play. It's like, wait a second, what's actually going on here?
He doesn't lose. He keeps it on Dathomir the whole time, and then Sabine and Ezra and Kanan pick it up in Rebels.
Yeah, they like find it. So why did he keep it there though?
Yeah, why did he keep it there? Because he goes to Malachor. Why didn't he bring it?
Because that's his bedroom. It's his personal bedroom. I don't think anyone in Crimson
Dawn weapon is your life
even knew about the secret old.
Although he had his
cave.
Lightsaber.
That was the old Daka cave where the old lady Night Sister was, like the secret behind the super secret behind the room. Like I don't think many people in Crimson Dawn were readily heading to Dathomir, to go hang out with Maul in his bedroom. I think we know that Dryden Voss was like one of the many forward-facing, figureheads of the operation on the First Light on the yacht. Like that was what Maul was putting forward. Like he was operating from the shadows. So I think the Darksaber was never really something in play for Crimson Dawn. That's more of just like a Maul thing. That's just me though. So I don't think I don't see it making an appearance in this, because Moff Gideon would have it. Maybe Moff Gideon appears. I don't know with the Darksaber, but like I don't think it factors into Crimson Dawn. Though to tie it back to War of the Bounty Hunters, the way I read it or I read it was Kira does not seem to be in a good place. She's talking to the Carbonite block and Margot, and she's like, Han, you always wanted to save me. Here's your chance. It doesn't seem like we're gonna get you out and I'm gonna fall in love with you again. Oh, I love you so much still. It's like I'm in a bad way and you are the key to making
bargaining chip.
Yeah, you are the bargaining chip that is gonna get you are gonna get me out of this hellhole. Because she identified that Han is wanted by everybody in the whole galaxy. Now she's inviting everybody into, a bidding war, auction-esque thing where you have the Hutts and you have the Rebellion and you have the Empire, all the bounty hunters, all converging on this one dude. And so she needs to she's trying to make some sort of power play, that fails. Right? Because we know it ends up in Jabba's palace, that Boba delivers it to Jabba's palace. But she's trying to make some sort of like long shot power play to get Crimson Dawn either back in power or just save her ass. Something, I don't know. There's something else going on here. And I'm excited to see what it is.
Yeah, me too.
I agree.
So are we gonna get these comics weekly now? Because they're like all these different runs, essentially.
Yeah, it's been weekly for the past month or so.
Right.
But those are all crossover comics, right? Because each run will have an issue, like usually monthly. So I imagine
Charles Soule
run the miniseries.
Charles Soule tweeted that if you want the full story, just read them week to week in the order they're released, and that's how they're labeled in order on the back. In the back of each issue is a list. How they're meant to be
like
read.
A Marvel annual.
And so they're crossovers, but they're all one continuous story, like crossing over from one thing to another. So it's like really, and this is just what Charles Soule said. It's meant you can like read just the 5-issue miniseries of War of the Bounty Hunters and get a story, but if you want the full story in order, read it in the order in the back, the full 34-issue thing.
Right.
And that's week to week. But you are right that the main War of the Bounty Hunters run is month to month.
Right, but like I definitely treat the entire thing as the complete story too. Like especially with Marvel Unlimited, being able to go back and just read those in the way that they'll track each one that comes up next in the arc. It just makes it so easy.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been really fun so far. I've really enjoyed Charles Soule's Star Wars main run before this, and I would encourage everybody to go check out all this in between Empire and Jedi stuff. It's very cool. But in terms of just the arcs we've gotten or issues we've gotten for the crossover so far, they've all been very cool. We have Dirge coming back. We have that's part of this. Everyone Dirge freaking showed up last week. It's Dirge. Like that's gonna be awesome.
It is exciting. Oh, sorry, man.
Oh, no,
Exegol. Phantom Menace tie-ups, kind of.
Well, Exegol hasn't been in this, but just like the fact that.
Well, I'm just talking about like all of it with the Vader stuff and.
Big Shadow of the Empire vibes the past couple of weeks between Ord Mantell popping up and the little Shizors and
the little Shizor.
Sorry, I couldn't remember their race or their species. But seeing Boba have the Han Solo getting stolen, like that was like a big part of his arc in the original Shadows of the Empire comic. So it's cool to kind of see that arc kind of being used again for a new purpose.
This is like that, but. Because in that 5-run issue, he never actually gets it stolen, right? He just like defends it the whole time. Zuckuss and Forlom,
right. Yeah, Zuckuss he tries.
Yeah, but here it's like boom, it's gone. We're off to the races, and it's
right.
It's pretty
stakes
exciting.
are higher.
Stakes are high. It's very exciting. I've just been so excited about each issue so far.
Awesome. Definitely gonna have to give that a read.
It's just fun to be into a comic series like this, especially for Star Wars. It's like I mentioned last week with you guys, it's bonus Star Wars content every week that we can enjoy. Other than the Bad Batch, we can enjoy this comic run. So I'm excited for it, but
very excited. It's super cool. And there's tying stuff to the High Republic. It's in this issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's a super fun stuff. Yeah.
I finished the There Is No Fear arc. Just reminded me.
I loved the little High Republic reference in War of the Bounty Hunters because it's just the one-off. Oh yeah, Lena So, we can work with her. I trust her. And then it's like, wait a second, why do the Hutts trust Lena
Suspect.
So?
And that guy, that Hutt, Marlowe, he's from the Clone Wars. I forgot about that when I first read that. The toupee Hutt, you can see him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Oh, toupee. Oh gosh.
Yeah. But there's so many things going on. Like the other Hutt, the buff Hutt. It's not
Buff Hutt and
yes,
toupee Hutt.
I'm like
it's not Gracchus. That Hutt is in jail at this point. That's a different buff Hutt. This buff Hutt is Boku. And if you are reading the previous issues, you know that guy is working for Darth Vader and Ochi of Bastoon. And so it's like, what is going on here? There's so many layers. It's so much fun.
Ochi's
a king.
We're about to launch into more with the Hutts in the High Republic as well, because they were saying in Phase 2 we'll be getting more content with the Hutts as well. I believe mostly in the comics. So we've already seen like one turn up dead. So yeah. No,
they showed up. They've been fighting. They're fighting with the Jedi against the Drengir in the most recent issue.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't want to. I can't talk. I've heard things about the Rising Storm. I'm not going to say. I don't want to say anything. I've heard spoilers for Phase 2.
We won't talk about the books until after the books are out. It'll be a little bit. I think that on the blog we're gonna do up a little review though, because a few of us got access to Out of the Shadows and Race to Crash Point Tower, and so Scott already read them for us, and we're gonna drop a little mini non-spoilery review soon. So that'll be
stay tuned for that.
I'll be blogging over the summer too. I'll be on the blog.
Yeah, Levi is gonna join us on the blog.
I didn't want to bug you with that because I know you have school going on. So
a few more days.
We'll get you scheduled for whatever you want to do.
Blend of people. It's always exciting. So,
and Farm Boy. Yeah, I saw Farm Boy mention. I've been streaming the past couple of nights, trying to get back into it. So, I can't make a promise because I'm not good with that. But I'll really
promise if you know you can't keep it.
I'll try to do a game stream at some point. Maybe Jamie and I will play Lego Star Wars or something. I don't know. We'll see.
The best thing about the game streams is so we watch the Bad Batch at like 7 a.m. on Friday mornings because I start work at 8, right? But I work from home, so it's okay. So I literally walked downstairs this morning at 7 a.m. I didn't even notice that AJ had moved the entire like dining room table like into the living room to like do this like setup.
Yeah,
I just sat on the couch and like got cozy with the blanket, and then I'm like, what's the table doing in here? Like I had no idea. Like
with the microphone
this all
on
happened
it
overnight.
everything.
So I don't know what's going on down there. This is now his space. So.
It's my office.
Yeah. It's good.
But
it's good stuff.
Anyone got any last words before we head out here? We talked about everything here. We talked about the comic. It's been a good stream. We lost 2 people along the way.
More Gonky. Let's get
Justice
that Gonky.
No Gonky.
Get Gonkin. Get
Oh.
Gonkin.
Will Gonky die?
If the Havoc Marauder goes down, that droid's going with it.
I could see him making like a big sacrifice.
He'll like overload
the rebel
the
just
power.
breaks open.
That's really why the
Oh.
who are the guys that score the show? The
Counter Brothers.
The Counter.
The Counter Brothers. That's really the finale that cheered them up.
Track title: Gonki's Noble End.
Gonki's Noble End.
No. I don't want to think about that.
Gonki's not. It took me a second to get that. I can't believe they leaked. I can't believe they did that.
I know.
Gonky Smith.
1999, Unreal. And you're like, oh, look at the score. Oh, Qui-Gon's Noble End. Oh.
Wait a minute.
That Liam Neeson.
Oh gosh.
All right.
Okay. I think that's it for today.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna head off for now, guys. Thank you everyone in the chat. It was fun chatting with you guys. Good questions, good theories by everyone. And yeah, thanks to Levi, thanks to Jack, thanks to Jamie, thanks to Matt, and thanks to Dylon, aka Dylan. And is that everyone? I think that's everyone.
I think that's everyone.
Thanks to
today.
Sidon in the top right corner next to Jamie there.
Yep.
And yeah.
On Black Series, is there?
Oh yeah, thank you guys for my new.
Sure.
Now you reveal the shirt.
Look at that. Look at
I'll
that.
I'll have to send one to Levi now that he's official. But
it's good merch.
Yeah. See you everyone. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.